Dana B from Jump 1069.
Dylan Black from Boom 99.7.
I'm Tony from Jump 1069.
John Gonzo here from Boom.
Mr. D, evening show host here at Jump 1069.
Dave Nelson from Boom 99.7.
Jimmy from Jump 1069.
Colleen Rushon from the Boom Breakfast Show.
Jay from Jump 1069.
Tim from the Boom Breakfast with Tim and Colleen.
Allie from Jump 1069.
Thank you to everyone at CHEO.
So many families are being affected by your care.
Many of us with young kids, myself included with a 5-year-old son, CHEO has been there when we've needed them most.
In 1996, I was invited up to take part in my first ever CHEO Telethon, invited by Max Keeping. 24 years later, I have a 2-year-old named Max. The Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario means a lot to me and my family.
As somebody from Ottawa, I know how great the staff is every time I visited CHEO as a kid.
I'm fortunate enough to have only had to use CHEO once as the dad of a young patient, but I've helped out there over the years. We're so blessed to have CHEO.
My wife and I always talk about how lucky we are with our 2 daughters, Lucy and Amelia, to live in a city where we have one of the best pediatric care facilities in the country.
I just want to take a moment and thank everyone at CHEO for the amazing work they do.
Every day they make a positive impact and they help make our community stronger.
For everything that you do.
For children, for families.
Thank you.
Thanks, CHEO.
Thank you to the entire staff.
CHEO, we love you.
CHEO and all the wonderful people that work there. Mwah!
And thank you to you if you're able to take time and donate today.
If you can make it happen, make a donation today.
We couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much.
This hour of the CHEO Telethon is brought to you by St. Hubert.
By now, many of us are wondering what our new normal will look like. But for the kids that can rely on Canada's children's hospitals for ongoing, life-saving care, these are very scary times. That's why we celebrate the frontline heroes that step forward every day so that we can stay safe. This is that place where brave and committed frontline associates stand behind the most vulnerable in our communities. This is that place that will ask you to support your local children's hospitals. So between May 14th to June 7th, at all Walmart locations across Canada, join us on the front lines to support local children's hospitals through Children's Miracle Network, for our doctors who perform our surgeries, for our nurses and specialists who care for us, for families and kids who need care now and in the future. Join us, because we're stronger together.
This hour of the CHEO Telethon is brought to you by RBC. This is the CHEO Telethon.
Prior to COVID-19, CHEO was facing a crisis in pediatric mental health. We've seen a 90% increase in mental health emergency visits since 2010.
Joanne Lowe, Vice President of Mental Health and Addictions, CHEO Executive and Director of Youth Services Bureau, joins us now live from CHEO. Joanne, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, and happy birthday, Graham, and hello, Patricia.
Hello. That's
you.
very kind of you. By the way, the money for the cake and balloons did not come out of the money that's being donated. We want to make sure you know that.
Of course it didn't.
We want to ask you about the COVID-19 Isolation Center. This is a really tricky time for vulnerable youth in our society right now.
It is indeed, and if it was not for the generosity of this community and through CHEO, we would not actually have had the opportunity to create an isolation center for young people who are homeless and who, if in need of self-isolation, they really had no home to self-isolate in. So we were able to create this wonderful center in partnership with CHEO and the Youth Services Bureau, and it has provided a really essential service for young people in our community.
We often think about our challenges, fairly affluent part of the city, and what we're doing with our kids, and it's very easy to forget about those young people, and particularly homelessness, because with this virus, they're very vulnerable to becoming infected.
Yeah, indeed, and I remember in the very early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, I was speaking to a young person who was homeless, and we were talking about how important it was to take all the precautions of physical distancing and all those other precautions that are so important. And they said to me that, and we were explaining that we were looking to develop an isolation center, and they were nearly in tears because their response was that you mean people really care about me? And I said, of course, this community cares deeply about you. You're an important part of our community. So this really is, it speaks volumes about how we all need to care and how we all do care about the most vulnerable in our community.
It's amazing to get that kind of feedback for sure. Talk about maybe the average family at home where teens are at home, they're cut off from school, they're cut off from activities, whether they're struggling a little with mental health or not. Are you worried about sort of long-term impact on mental health for some of those kids whose lives have been interrupted so dramatically?
Of course, and there's more and more research that's coming out. There's research that started with the help of the foundation and through CHEO and among others to actually help us better understand what their needs will be in the longer term and what we need to have in place to respond to them. But absolutely, kids not having a place to gather at school, not to have the normalcy of some of the routines through sports and activity and other activities has really put a strain on that. And we are hearing that more families and young people are experiencing more anxiety, and so it's even more important than ever that we actually have our services available to help them.
Thanks, Joanne, and we will be speaking with you in the next hour. We appreciate you joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we're going to go back now to Leanne Cusack with another check. Leanne?
We've been racing to get to this presentation, and in a moment you'll see why Marjolaine Houdon of RBC is on the line. And Marjolaine, this is the race for the kids. Please tell us about it.
Oh, it's a beautiful event. It's a race. It's a 2, 5, or 10K race. You have an opportunity to join. It's a fun event. You join with your family, with friends, with colleagues, and it's for a good cause. It is to support youth mental health programs at CHEO. We've had 3 races so far, and we've been able to support CHEO's youth mental health programs with close to $1 million since the beginning.
Unbelievable. I know it was an international event, but it's a local give. We want to thank you so very much. Okay, the total is astonishing, and I know it's been a very challenging time in banking, so it must feel really great to have a total like this to present in such a positive way right now. Would you please tell us what you've brought here for CHEO?
$382,000, $487. Close to $400,000.
Oh, well, as a vice president of RBC, it must feel great to deliver that, and I deliver it with gratitude to our desk. Thank you, Marjolaine.
Thank you so much.
Amazing number there.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Thank you to both of you. We are going to go back to Matt Scooby now, get those phones ringing.
Some incredible numbers rolling in, Graham and Patricia. In fact, have a look at our virtual phone bank right now. A lot of them are busy. Some of them are not. Give us a call. 1-866-447-4442. 613, again, is the other local number as well that is now available to you to be able to call. Don't forget to, and then we're talking about mental health this hour, the CHEO Head to Toe program has been instituted. It aims to identify youth that are having suicidal thoughts and getting them the help that they need quickly. And CHEO was the very first hospital in Canada to have a program like that. Donor dollars support it. So be sure to give us a call right now to make your donation and to have your impact on the kids and the staff at CHEO. Let's go back to the desk.
All right, thanks, Matt. Joining us now from her home is former CHEO patient Daniel McCaughey. Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So Danielle, it was several years ago that you were admitted to CHEO, to the Eating Disorder Clinic, for help with that. How are you doing now?
I'm doing a lot better. I would say fully recovered. I'm in a good place.
That's great to hear, because I know about a little bit about this, and it can be very, very dangerous. And it's one of these things they tell you that this can be a lifelong struggle. What's that like? What's it been like for you now that you feel that you're in a much better place?
Knowing how big of a difference I was 10 years ago when I was sick, it's mind blowing. I know that if I did ever struggle, I know what to do. I have a support system. I know coping mechanisms, everything that CHEO has taught me that really helps me not fall down the steep hill that it can be.
Have you been watching this pandemic, what's been going on, and thinking about the young people who are struggling at this time? Because I know when you go back 10 years ago, you're talking about going in there during the H1N1 crisis. In fact, you had to be isolated for some time in hospital as well.
Yeah. I feel for them. There's half of the treatment is you're with a whole group of people, and you're able to share everything, but you get very close with them. So the fact that they can't have that right now, it would make it harder. But I'm hoping this is done soon and that they can get back to their best selves.
For people who don't know about eating disorders, how much work does it take for you and your family to be at your point now?
It's not just an everyday thing. It's like an every hour thing. It's there are good days, there are bad days, but as long as there are the good days, you can forget about the bad. But when you're in the middle of it, it feels like there is no end. But knowing now, what I know now is there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But it's a big struggle.
Big struggle. And I guess the lesson for all of us is that as you're putting in that work, you and your family, the CHEO team is putting that work in right alongside you, and it can't be done maybe without them. And that's why you want to be here, to extend your appreciation to everyone at CHEO.
Well, exactly. So CHEO wasn't just there for me. They were also there for my family. They were helping my parents know how to help me, because I had to go home at the end of the day, and it was my parents who were my main support system. And for them to know what to do, CHEO was there every second of the day. And it was a phone call if it was on the weekend. They really gave all of us the tools, and it's more about remembering who I am, which is something that your eating disorder makes you forget. And the CHEO, the team, like the doctors, nurses, psychologists, all of them are just behind you the entire step of the way, every step of the way.
Danielle, it's great to see you, and great to see you here and in such great shape. Wonderful story. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we're going to go back now to Leanne Cusack. Leanne.
On this June day, we're going to make a little visit to Pakenham, specifically to Mount Pakenham. Why not visit a ski hill in June, especially when Andrew and Julie Burns have wonderful news for CHEO to share. How are you guys?
We're good. How are you?
We're fantastic and really grateful to you for this event. I understand a snowboard-themed event.
Yeah, that's right. We're able to kind of open it up for the snowboard community and do something that's a little bit different than the normal event that the whole family of snowboarders can come and do.
Fantastic. And families of snowboarders are often very grateful to CHEO and the body shop in particular, depending on how many jumps they're doing. Tell us, please, if you would, Julie and Andrew, what you raised for the Children's Hospital.
We raised over $5,000, which we were ecstatic about.
Well, if I were on a snowboard, I'd be catching some air right now to celebrate. Thank you so very much. Everyone back at the desk knows that's not true, but they certainly get the emotion. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Now take a quick breath, Leanne, because we have so many generous donors that we're trying to get to and fit in before the end of the telethon that we are going to go right back to Leanne Cusack. Leanne.
Each and every year, it's a huge holiday tradition and perhaps the most elegant event of the season. It's called Trees of Hope. It's at the Fairmont Chateau Laurier, and Deneen Perrin is the force behind this festive fundraiser. Deneen, tell us all about what you've done.
Well, I'll tell you, we have a great team that comes together to help build this event. We had a record number of trees with 36 companies coming to decorate their tree and making it look beautiful and festive for the holiday season. And then we move those trees into the public spaces and we invite the public to come and vote on their favorite tree.
Deneen, I have a sneak peek at the amount you are presenting. Please tell us the number.
We have raised this year a record number with over $125,000.
Woo! You just made it feel like Christmas in June. Thank you so much. On behalf of CHEO, we're heading back to the desk with that great news.
Massive number for a great event.
It really is. Yeah, nice to see Deneen. Again, everything's sort of been shut down. We're not connecting with people, so it's nice to connect with them virtually.
It'll be great to see the Shadow open again, and they are going to open again July 1st. It's going to be a great time for them and for everybody.
Absolutely. Getting back to that new normal, as they say. Almost normal over there at the phone banks is our own Matt Scooby. The shots are just flying, Matt.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, thanks, Patricia. Yeah, let's talk about them because the phones have actually been fairly busy here in the last little bit. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to keep up for the next, well, we're going on, it's almost 5:15, next hour and 45 minutes. 1-866-447-4442 is the number to call if you haven't already. We appreciate everyone who has been so generous already today, but we want to keep these people busy. They are hydrated, they are fed, they've been taking their breaks, they are in good shape. So let's keep them as busy as possible and keep those phones ringing. Graham and Patricia.
All right, thanks, Matt. You may have heard that movement is the best medicine.
Mm-hmm. Matt seems to think it is, doing the cartwheels there to keep us all entertained. We're going to see if we can both do some movement, get laughing, as we're about to throw it back over to Matt Scooby, who might be convinced to try some yoga moves for us. Matt?
Sure. Well, we've done a cartwheel, right? So we may as well just move on to yoga. But let's talk, first of all, before we do that, about 24-hour Yoga Palooza. And before we finally do it, because it's a great cause, and they've been raising some money for CHEO. We'll want to welcome now, too, who I believe that we do have up here as well. We want to welcome, at this point, let me move just over here, Steve and Randy. Steve and Randy, thank you so much for joining us. Steve, let me start with you. Let's talk about Yoga Palooza, and it's still happening. Why is it so important for you guys to support CHEO? Steve, can you hear me? I've got, again, hopefully you can hear us here in the studio. Just wondering why it's so important to you to support CHEO. I don't think that Steve and Randy can hear us, so we're going to check back in with them a little bit later. Graham and Patricia.
Matt can just do it on his own. Come on, Matt.
Yeah, we were expecting some yoga there. We're going to try to get back to them. We're doing our best. It is a virtual telethon. These things are going to happen, but it's great to have them aboard, and they are doing some great stuff.
Gives Matt some more time to limber up here.
Yeah.
Well, a positive social network is critical, developing into a healthy adult, of course.
Peer-to-peer support is a powerful outlet for young people when it comes to coping with mental health struggles.
This is where CHEO's YouthNet comes in. Led by youth facilitators, the organization offers young people services to deal with issues ranging from stress and anxiety to depression.
Here's Claudia Cotillo.
When you're speaking with someone and they're being vocal about their struggle, you don't know if you're the first one that's actually listening to them.
Sarah Henderson knows how important listening is, especially with young people dealing with mental health struggles.
Even though it may feel like everyone's saying, it'll be okay, or it'll pass, because you get that a lot when you're going through a struggle with mental health. I think you just have to kind of let yourself be helped. How are you?
Good. Henderson is 17 years old and a youth advocate with YouthNet. It's a peer-to-peer mental health program for young people between 13 and 20 years old.
We don't ask for a diagnosis here at YouthNet. We know that if a young person is coming to us, it's because they want to learn more about their own health.
The program is affiliated with CHEO. It offers young people different coping mechanisms for dealing with mental health issues, from stress and anxiety to depression.
We go out into the community and offer presentations to build mental health literacy, and then we offer programs here for youth that have identified struggling.
Programs that focus on art, outdoor physical education, and understanding emotions.
Yes. Oh, okay, cool.
A pillar of YouthNet is young people talking to each other.
You have that component of being able to speak with your peers when you're struggling, but at the same time, it's in a monitored area.
More serious issues are referred to a social worker so kids don't fall through the cracks. YouthNet wants young people to know they can simply drop in if they need support or someone to talk to. They also stress the importance of early intervention.
If you're struggling, it's important to just talk about it.
Henderson knows that firsthand. At 15, she was hospitalized for bipolar disorder and OCD. She hopes being involved with YouthNet will help other kids overcome their own mental health struggles.
Even if I can make a small difference in someone's life just by speaking with them at YouthNet, it really means a lot to me.
Last year, some 200 youth came to YouthNet or used their services. Now the program hopes to keep adding to those numbers, helping as many young people as possible.
Important program. My daughter had to take advantage of that program several years ago. You're very happy it's there
Oh,
when
yeah.
you need it.
Wonderful.
Well, time now for our next Miracle Match.
This Miracle Match is sponsored by Giant Tiger.
And here again is Leslie Roberts. Leslie.
Yeah, thank you guys. Time to double your donation thanks to the folks at Giant Tiger, the all-Canadian family discount store. Community involvement, not just a part of Giant Tiger's mandate, it's a part of their foundation. At every store, owners and managers become members of their communities. Giant Tiger here today to support CHEO with this next Miracle Match. Allison Scarlett from Giant Tiger is on the line. Hello there. Why is giving back so important to you today?
So giving back to the communities in which we operate is really part of our DNA. It's how our stores operate. It's how our owner managers give back and make sure that they're making a difference day in and day out in the communities in which we operate. So it's more than just words. It's what we do at Giant Tiger.
And Miracle Match right now. So what is your message to the folks watching at home?
I think the message to those who are watching at home is to just make a difference in any way that you can. Everyone has either been affected by CHEO in some way or knows someone who's been affected by CHEO. It's an organization that makes such a tangible difference in our communities. And at Giant Tiger, we are so proud to be partners with CHEO through things like Miracle Match and the Telethon, but it's also our employee give back charity of choice.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you to the folks at Giant Tiger for this Miracle Match. Matt, how do we get the folks ringing those phones?
Oh, it's time to start it once again. Let's start that 3-minute clock. 1-866-447-4442 is the number to call right now. The good news, our virtual phone bank has been quite busy, but we need to have all of them on the phones. There are a couple of them that have just finished taking donations. Let's get them back on the phones here right now by calling that number, 1-866-447-4442. Let's recap for you two just how to do that, because we're into the 5 o'clock hour. It's our first Miracle Match. If you donate $25 in the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we're going to turn that into $50. If it's a $100 donation, it's going to mean $200 going to the folks at CHEO. Thank you to Giant Tiger for sponsoring this $3,500 Miracle Match. So be sure to call the number on your screen right now.
And you know all that money you saved because you shop at Giant Tiger? Now's the time to pay back. And not only are you going to make a donation, Giant Tiger, the folks that helped you save the money, now going to match it and give back. 1-866-447-4442 is the number to call. The operators are standing by for your calls.
So much support so far. Let's check in with one of the Robinson twins with how much time is left.
Only 2 minutes left until this Miracle Match ends. Call the number on your screen right now.
Yes, thank you so much. 2 minutes remaining. Again, this is the time where you can really have an impact on the staff at CHEO, on the kids at CHEO, as we continue to have some activity, but maybe not enough on the virtual phone bank. Because it's, don't forget, not just the people who you see on the screen here. We have lots of people, tons of volunteers who have been so great all day, taking your phone calls behind the scenes, and they need to stay busy. And right now is the best time for them to be busy. So be sure to pick up the phone and call right now.
Dan's ready for a call. I can see here, so you can't have no excuse to call. There are some lines available. 1-866-447-4442 is the number to call. As you make your donation, reminder, this is a Miracle Match, and thanks to the folks at the Giant Tiger, we're able to double the money this time with your donation. So no time like the present to make it and double it at the same time.
Molly and Dylan, how much time does everyone have left?
1 minute left. Please donate.
Thank you so much. Love that running in, true slam
Yes.
dunk. You can have a slam dunk for CHEO by calling right now, 1-866-447-4442. It doesn't matter. You can be a hero for CHEO. You may have heard the expression. We certainly have tons of heroes for CHEO. You've been hearing their stories. It can be you right now by picking up the phone, calling us, and making your donation impacted.
Elliot's story earlier this hour was unbelievable because it could have been any of us, right? They were driving home from a cottage, boom, car accident, life changed in an instant. And thanks to the miracle makers at CHEO, the life is back to normal. It wouldn't necessarily be unless you were able to get the help from people like the staff at CHEO. This is your chance to be able to say, thank you, CHEO, for what you're doing for all the families, and maybe one day you may need them too. 1-866-447-4442.
You're never going to know when that day comes. And again, we know that people may be in a hard-strapped position right now. No donation is too small. If you can't spread this message, we're on here till 7 o'clock, and we have lots more miracle matches coming up to have the greatest impact. Let's go back to the desk.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And we're going to head to Leanne Cusack. Another check, and this one might be pretty significant, we hope.
So
So many have been dealing with insurmountable challenges, and when we hear Air Canada, of course, that is so significantly the case. Yet, the Air Canada Foundation is here joining us on the CHEO Telethon with an incredibly generous donation. We have Valérie Durand joining us from Montreal. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, we're delighted to have you, and you continue to give to the Children's Hospital. Please tell us about this donation.
Sure. So, well, we're a registered foundation, so we fundraise in various ways. Obviously, we have our fundraising events that we hold during a normal year. But a big chunk of this change, if I can say, actually comes from our customers, which is customers last year who donated on board because last year our Every Bit Counts program, which is our onboard collection program, was dedicated to the pediatric hospitals across Canada. So a big chunk of that change belongs, the big thank you belongs to our customers as well as our employees who donate to the foundation.
Well, you used the words big chunk of change, and I have to say that is not hyperbole. You have donated $94,032 to
That's right.
to CHEO. Thank you so much on behalf of everyone at the hospital and in our community. We're flying back to the desk.
That would count as significant. Yes. Very
Exactly.
Nice. Well, for many of us, the COVID-19 virus is making for a very uncertain future.
Kids who already experience a lot of anxiety may find it getting worse.
Megan Shaw now on how CHEO is responding to child and youth mental health needs during COVID-19.
Thanks, Graham and Patricia. Joining me now is David Murphy. He is the Director of Mental Health at CHEO. Thanks so much for being with us. Now, CHEO's mental health department, it supports so many children and youth. Can you take us through your role at CHEO?
Sure. So as director of the mental health program, I work closely with my co-lead, Dr. Kathy Pager, who's our chief of psychiatry, and both Dr. Pager and I would have clinical and administrative oversight to the mental health program at CHEO.
Okay, and we know CHEO was already seeing an increase in mental health cases, and then you add in all of the changes because of COVID-19. How is CHEO responding right now?
So we responded to essentially switch all of our services to virtual care where possible. So all of our outpatient services are providing virtual care. Just about all of our programs that provide outpatient care provide virtual programs. And we've also now switched that to adapting to virtual care within our emergency department. So we have been reaching out to all of our community hospitals to provide virtual mental health assessments when needed of patients presenting in their emergency department that they're wondering should be coming to our CHEO emergency department.
And we know you and your team, you've been at CHEO day after day through this pandemic, and we are seeing so many studies of children who are affected because of this. As we look to our future and we really don't know what that's going to look like, how is your team preparing?
So we're preparing by ensuring that our services currently, our virtual services that we're delivering currently, that we have the ability to be able to transform, to be able to start being able to see patients in person once needed. And also, if there were to be future waves or other circumstances that facilitate us or the need to facilitate back to virtual services, that we'll have a plan to either sort of ramp up and ramp down in that regard. But it's important to note for kids that do need to have face-to-face visits, we are still providing those in our emergency department, and we're providing those face-to-face with our clinicians as needed.
Well, thank you so much for all of the important work that you do, and thanks for joining us. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, Megan. You know, I've been feeling it a little bit during the pandemic, a little bit of anxiety. I'm convinced it's because I'm cut off from my favorite hot yoga class.
Yes.
Get that relaxation.
It's a big part of life for a lot of people that we've been cut off from in some instances. Matt's going to join us now, and we're going to attempt to connect with these folks are doing some great stuff for CHEO. Matt?
Yes, they certainly are. It's almost starting to feel like hot yoga in here, Patricia, with the lights underneath, but maybe not quite like the studio. Let's check into, we want to talk about 24-hour Yoga Palooza. Steve Neville and Randy Raffi are on the line. So let's start. Steve, I want to start with you. For people who don't know what 24-hour Yoga Palooza is, tell us a little bit about the event.
Yeah, absolutely. 24-hour Yoga Palooza is an event that's centered around raising money and awareness for childhood cancer. The way we do that is through the practice of yoga And the event itself is a 24-hour yoga relay where we get very like-minded people all together, centered on raising money and awareness for CHEO.
And Steve, too, do you have people actually doing yoga for 24 hours straight?
You know what? There's people like Randy who are very, very enthusiastic, and they can do it. But it's not. That's not the focus. Most people do it for a few hours, and the idea is really just to raise awareness around this great need we have for childhood cancer in CHEO.
Yeah, it certainly is great. Randy, let's talk a little bit about that need. Why is it so important for you to be giving back and to be donating back to CHEO?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about all the children that CHEO sees, they see over 500 kids a year in treatment for cancer, over 75 kids every year new. And that just means that there's a huge need in our community. I've experienced that myself. My son had cancer when he was 5 years old. And CHEO was central to us getting through it as a family. And without CHEO in our community, we would have had to go away and do it. Instead of our second home being out of the city, it was in the city, and it was CHEO with very caring people who helped us through.
Absolutely. Randy, I want to ask too, we talk about mental health, certainly a big part right now. How, for you and how generally too, is yoga helping with people's mental health?
Oh, yoga is awesome for mental health because it's based on connecting the mind, the body, and the breath. And basically, as you practice yoga, you want to be in the moment, in the present moment, and letting go of all the things that stress you out during your day. So that's really how yoga helps with mental health.
It certainly is. Okay, Randy, let's take me. You're ready. I'm still in my suit, but can you take me through a couple of poses? Let's do some yoga right now.
Awesome. I'm happy to do that. We'll start at the top of our mats in mountain pose.
Okay.
Inhale deeply to reach. And then as you exhale, stepping back with the left foot, we'll stack the heel over the ball of the foot. The back knee is bent. The pelvis is tucked underneath the rib cage. Palms facing each other, pinky fingers spiraling in. The front knee is bent, stacked over the ankle. Draw the corners of the mouth up towards the sky.
Everyone join in at home too if you're watching us though.
This is Crescent Lunge, which happens to be 24-hour Yoga Palooza logo.
Fantastic stuff. Randy, appreciate this. Steve, before I let you go too, I know with the pandemic and everything happening right now, is 24-hour Yoga Palooza still a go at this point?
Yeah, so actually it would have been yesterday had the pandemic not happened, but our community, our sponsors like Tony Graham Toyota, like Trend Micro, Lululemon, and others have all been behind us and saying that we're going to come back this fall. We're going to figure out something because childhood cancer doesn't go away. The need is there, and we'll be there to help CHEO and the families dealing with it.
Absolutely. Steve Neville, Randy Rafi, thank you so much for the time and appreciate your support of CHEO.
Thanks very much.
Let's go back to the desk.
Now, you're the yoga expert. Did Matt, was his pelvis in the correct position?
I wasn't looking at his pelvis, but I was going to say that every class there's a Matt Scooby who goes, oh, the other left, and switches their foot. Yeah. Usually it's me doing that.
We're going to head back to CHEO now for another bedside interview.
Hi, everyone. This is Lydia and her dad, John. And we just wanted to find out today how your healthcare journey has been so far.
Well, we've been here for almost 11 weeks at this point, but I would have to say that overall it's been an absolutely incredible journey. From the moment she showed up almost 10 weeks early, it's been nothing but sort of a whirlwind of ups and downs and stress relief, but the journey itself has been great because, in all honesty, we've had some incredible support here at CHEO, which is incredible and we're very thankful for in this moment because of everything that's going on in the world with COVID and everything. And we're not able to have the same support we would have from our family, yet we feel like we're family here.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. So can you think of all the wonderful things that you're looking forward to when you go home?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to when we get home is actually being able to be a parent team. We haven't had a lot of opportunity to be a team here together so far, as my wife and I take turns staying for multiple days, as we're only able to have one of us stay here. So I think the big thing, not just having her home, but being able to parent as a team finally, almost 3 months into her life.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, and we also are looking forward to getting little Lydia home with you as well.
Absolutely, thank you.
Best wishes, thank you.
All these sweet little bundles. Oh, it's wonderful to see them. Well, we are going to get those phones ring again. Time for another Miracle Match.
This Miracle Match is sponsored by Lowe's.
Let's head back to Leslie Roberts. Leslie.
Thank you. This Miracle Mart sponsor, as mentioned there, Lowe's Canada. They know supporting the Canadian healthcare system really crucial right now as the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic continues to evolve. Lowe's Canada also evolving, adapting the way it supports children's hospitals by moving its fundraising campaign online. Through its Lowe's, Rona, and Renault Depot banners, Lowe's Canada will raise funds to help the local children's hospitals right across the country, including right now. It is time for a Lowe's Canada Miracle Match. Matt.
Let's do it, shall we? Start the clock on this. 3 minutes. Give us a call right now, 1-866-447-4442. This is a $5,000 Miracle Match thanks to Lowe's. Again, in case you're just joining us, let's quickly take you through. We're going to double your impact in the next 3 minutes if you call us right now. So if you give $100, it's going to turn into $200 for CHEO. If you give us $50, it's going to turn into $100, all the way up to be matched at $5,000. The phones have been pretty steady, fairly busy. We want to get them even busier too. We have some people here in our virtual phone bank who are not on the phone right now. There's only a couple of them, Leslie, which is a good sign, but doesn't mean there can't be more.
Well, and that last story was so inspiring, that poor dad holding the little bundle attached to the oxygen tank. I mean, you never know when you take the child into the hospital what's going to happen, right? And it's expectations of delivery, and then something goes wrong. That's where the folks at CHEO can make things so right. And thanks to you, they can continue to do so by calling this number.
Fatumata, how long do we have left?
There's only 2 minutes left, so please pick up that phone and be a hero for CHEO and donate to the CHEO Telethon.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Fatumata, for that. 1-866-447-4442. We talk about the stories. We've been talking about them all day. Yeah. And it's the emergency department. Many people and many new parents have done it. You've done it. Yeah. I've done it. We've been there a couple of times. In fact, the ER department, the staff there see 70,000 patients a year. And they rely on your help to be able to help those kids, whether they're a few days old, whether they're hours old, or whether they're all the way up to 16, 17 years old. The range is very great. Up to about 500,000 kids are served each and every year by CHEO. That's why we need your help to call this number right now.
Yeah, above the ER, of course, you've got all those kids who need ongoing treatments, surgeries. They need to check in with their doctors, all hopeful that the future is bright, and it can be by you making a donation.
Let's hear from the McMurdo sisters.
1 minute left of this Miracle Match. Please donate.
Very important message. We're under a minute now, too. We're at about 45 seconds to give us a call. Everyone is busy. That is the good news, but we can still have lots of people who are answering the phones.
Yeah, I was just saying one more, but she picked up her phone here. But there are many more operators who are standing by, so this can be a little deceiving. We do want to make them work, because it looks really bad on television when people aren't answering the phone. Because they're taking the flags and they're showing their dogs. Give them a call. Put them to work.
They're busy. The virtual phone bank, if you can hear us, give us a call right now, or give us a wave if you're not on a call. Yeah, well, you know what? They're all busy. They're all chatting. They're all paying attention. Oh, see, we have one. We have a couple who need to be called. 1-866-447-4442. Want to thank Lowe's for sponsoring this $5,000 Miracle Match. Cannot understate the generosity and the impact that everyone is having today. So it goes by quick. We got to be on the ball. We have a few more coming up still. Graham and Patricia.
Great team on the Miracle Match there. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Good job, guys. We're going to go back to another team member now, Leanne Cusack.
On this very special day when we celebrate CHEO, we're also celebrating the relationships, businesses who have always been there to support the Children's Hospital in our region. We have Caitlin Reel from Farm Boy, such a local success story, here to talk about something. Well, I don't know about you, Caitlin. I've never met a cookie I didn't like, especially the cookies of the cash at Farm Boy. Tell us about that campaign.
Yeah, so we've been selling, we sold our cookies at the cash since about a month before Easter, and so they're gingerbread cookies, and we've been doing it for the past several years. And every $1 of every cookie sold is donated to our local hospital partners, and so every Ottawa location is donating our funds to CHEO Foundation this year.
Well, we have a very sweet total to share. Caitlin, do the honors.
Yeah, so this year we were able to raise over $80,000 for CHEO Foundation, and so we're excited to hand the check over as soon as possible.
We are thrilled. I'm going to hand it back over to the desk, but I know we all are feeling like a few cookies at this point in time. Thanks again to Farm Boy.
Thank you both. Well, not all CHEO patients are children. Many, like Jackson Hunter, are teenagers living with mental health issues.
Doctors at CHEO give them hope during difficult times, help them see a promise of a future. Here's Joel Haslam.
Beneath the spring sun and a canopy of trees, 18-year-old Jackson is mindful of his gifts.
I have a boyfriend right now. He's really great. I have an amazing group of friends. I have a great family.
A health sciences student at Queen's University, he dreams of becoming a doctor.
The 10-year plan is to be a pediatric psychiatrist.
Growing up, family called Jackson Mr. Happy. Every day for him, an adventure to be lived to its fullest.
He was always interested and curious and so smart, just wanting to experience everything that life had to offer.
But a couple of years ago, that changed. Jackson's view of life and living, painfully different.
Every single waking second, I would think about killing myself. I would wake up in the morning and I would wish I was dead, and then I would go about my day wishing I was dead, and then the last thing I would think before I fell asleep was wishing I was dead. And I lived like that for, I would say, about 18 months, which was brutal.
He did attempt to end his life.
He tried to kill himself twice.
Living quietly with depression in his teens, Jackson suffered a psychotic break at his 16th birthday party. A shock to family and friends.
He literally went in my eyes from being happy, Mr. Happy, to something completely different in one night. And it came after he told me that he was suffering with depression. And I had no idea. I had no.
We need you because the average age of a psychiatrist in this country is now approaching 60.
Really?
Jackson would find help at CHEO.
There's not enough people coming up, graduate.
Where doctors are dealing with more youth mental health issues than ever before.
To put it into context, in Canada every year, 3 times as many young people, children and youth, die by suicide as from all pediatric cancers combined.
Jackson remembers the pervasive, seemingly inescapable darkness shrouding his world back then. For months on end, journaling about his struggle while in hospital.
But every single day genuinely is a choice between killing yourself and not killing yourself, waking up or not waking up.
He has this sparkle and light and happiness about him that just seemed to go out.
How'd you like that?
But CHEO and Dr. Gandhi would help Jackson find that light again. Therapy giving Jackson the tools to take control of his mental health destiny.
Once I said to myself, I'm never going to kill myself, I can't do that. That's not going to be part of my story. There was a really big shift because it forced me to start to get better.
And testing at CHEO would reveal which medications would prove most beneficial for him.
To run the marathon of life, you need a really good pair of shoes. And if you're depressed, you're trying to do it bare feet. Antidepressants are essentially putting on a really good pair of running shoes to begin your journey towards recovery.
It was like a dimmer switch. Instead of going down, it was coming up. And I could see through his eyes the life and happiness coming back. And he's like that to this day.
By helping Jackson find his way through a painful past, CHEO has given him a future.
is that he's been able to finish high school and go on to university. And, I think he's a young man with great potential.
Given a mom and son the gift of each other.
If my mom didn't love me the much as she loved me, I'd be dead right now.
To have Jackson happy and laughing, being himself around the house brings energy and lightness back that had been missing. I'm so grateful, but I'm so much more. It's like having him back.
And for others who may be struggling, a message of promise from someone who's been there.
It might not get better, but you will get better. And while you're waiting, I will hold the hope for both of us.
These are the tough stories to hear, but the stories that are so important to share and to get that message out there.
Yeah, and a special note, Jackson just celebrated his 19th birthday on Friday. Happy birthday. From all of us, this is obviously not easy, and it touches a lot of people.
And we are so happy to be joined by Jackson now and his mom, Linda. And yes, again, Jackson, happy birthday. We're thrilled that you're able to celebrate your 19th birthday. Thank you both for being here to talk to us today. I want to start, Jackson, first of all, with you. What has CHEO meant to you? How has it changed your life?
CHEO was a place for me to be able to, it was a stepping stone. It was the place where I was able to find my feet and to be able to step into the future of how I want to be living my life. Because when you have all these really intense emotions and feelings, you don't necessarily know where your life is going to turn or where the next roadblock or the next milestone is going to be. And CHEO was really, really important in helping change the trajectory of where I was going.
These are very, very tough conversations to have. You have to be very brave to come forward and share the story. And yet we know that 1 in 5 teens say they seriously considered suicide last year. I mean, the stats are startling. It's out there, but for so long it wasn't talked about. How difficult was it for you, Linda, when you first realized that this was something that you had to start talking about with your son and dealing with because it was happening?
Well, it was extremely difficult, but at the same time, you have to, I don't want to say roll with it, but when it came to light and that's how he was feeling, then the difficulty that we faced, I didn't even notice it. Since he's been getting better, it's like I notice it now because he's so different now. So at the time when you're in the thick of it, you're doing all the things that you need to do to help, to be with him and help him and support him and love him and hold him. And so the difficulty I'm feeling more now, if I'm honest.
You know, you were doing all those things you had to do when you hear him say that he wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for his mom and your support. And there's only a mom who can be there in those situations sometimes, so we appreciate you. Jackson, as you moved on now, 19, moving on to university, what message would you have for some of the kids out there struggling? I know in my house we used to say all the time, today is not forever. There are other days ahead. What is your message to other teens?
The line that I grabbed somewhere along my therapy journey was practice makes progress. And that line is something that is now written all through my journals and on some piece of art on my wall, because to me, that line of practice making progress as opposed to perfect is what got me through every single day. Because when you're in recovery, getting better and changing the way you think and the way you feel and the way that you're acting takes a lot of practice. And it's also recognizing that I can't hold myself to this standard of perfection because it's not possible to be a perfect person. But if every single day I can wake up and practice what I'm learning and practice enjoying and seeing life as worth living, then over time I can progress to be the person I am now.
Well, we love that you're here to share the person you are. Everyone wants a quick fix. It's a long journey, but we're happy to see that you are moving on so beautifully in yours. Thank you to both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Great story. Wonderful to see that.
Wonderful to see so many kids struggling. I worry now about this situation, right? This pandemic, what's been happening, the repercussions we're going to see in weeks, months, years to come. If you are struggling, let someone know. There's always people to talk to. There's places to go.
Reach out, and we want to help the people who are contacting young people who are vulnerable, the people at CHEO. We've got another miracle match to do.
This miracle match is sponsored by Mitel.
Let's go back over to Leslie Roberts. Leslie.
Thank you. In addition to being a partner of the CHEO Telethon, for the last 20 years, Mitel provides an essential service to ensure the success of the CHEO Telethon. It's the network infrastructure for you to call in and donate. Basically, we couldn't do it, the CHEO Telethon, without the talented team from Mitel Networks. Let's welcome Chief Financial Officer Vanessa Canu. And I know giving back is so important as well at Mitel.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Absolutely. We've got about 600 employees here in Ottawa, and Mitel Serves, as we call it, is in our DNA. And supporting CHEO is something that we love to do every single year. I just couldn't be happier to be here and support this cause.
So thank you for the miracle match. There are a lot of people watching. This is the opportunity to double their donations. What is the message you have from Mitel?
Please call in. Please call in. Support this worthy cause. You can see the numbers crawling through your screen. Telephone, do it online. CHEO is making such a significant difference in the lives of children here in Ottawa. As a mother myself, I have kids who have used CHEO and gotten fantastic service. We've got friends whose children have used CHEO and have gotten really great support. Absolutely, by all means, call in and make use of this miracle match that we have going on right now.
All right, Vanessa, thank you. You heard it, folks, from the CFO herself at Mitel, Vanessa Canu. Matt, now's the time to put the people to work.
Not that you need any more motivation to do that, but it sure is. Leslie, let's start that 3-minute clock right now. The number to do that, Vanessa just said most of it, so the number, 1-866-447-4442. Call right now. This is a $10,000 miracle match. For the next 3 minutes, we're going to match your donations and double your impact for whatever you give up to $10,000. So right there, those numbers on the screen. If you're giving $50, it's $100. $100 means $200 to CHEO. So call the number on your screen right now. The good news, we are very, very busy on the phone lines, but we have lots of people standing by, not just our virtual phone bank. So give us a call right now.
Yeah, Mitel is making sure that your call is getting through. I love it when we hear the corporate types in our city. Those at the top in terms of corporate Ottawa who are saying, I have used the services of CHEO too. Bottom line here is everybody at some point in their life, we're likely touched by CHEO, and everybody wants to give back. Don't wait until you have to turn to them. Now is the time to do it and give a gift, and your donation will be matched.
Eli, how much time do we have left?
2 minutes remaining. Who are you going to call?
One of my favorites. Eli is our CHEO champion. We heard his story a little bit earlier. Thank you so much for that. You're going to call us, but you're going to call CHEO, 1-866-447-4442. We're watching some donations roll across the bottom of your screen. Dawn, thank you for donating. Wayne out in Rockland for donating as well. Everyone, you can have your name on that screen or you cannot. Totally up to you. But let's keep everyone busy because this is a chance to double your impact. We talk about Jackson's story as well. There are so many different programs at CHEO when we go through the list. There's a pet therapy program at CHEO where they have dogs around the hospital trying to make it feel a little bit more like home. Lots of conversations about Molly Penny. In fact, there is actually a kids clown school, one of its kind program in hospitals around the country that is helped funded by donor dollars.
They're cutting edge on so many levels, and this is a chance to be able to do your part to help the folks at CHEO, and it'll be doubled in terms of your donation.
Right now, Emily, how much time do we have?
1 minute in the miracle match. Please donate.
That's all you need to know, again, as we get to this $10,000 miracle match. Have your donation make the biggest impact that it can by calling 1-866-447-4442 right now.
A lot of people at CHEO have their televisions right now on the telethon. This is a tough year for CHEO for obvious reasons. It's a tough year for everybody. But 150 of their fundraising events are either postponed or canceled. So they're counting on you today. And in the next minute,
30 seconds.
30 seconds. You can make a difference by calling in, and not only that, getting it doubled, thanks to the folks at Mitel.
It goes by so fast, so be sure to get in there. As long as you're in there before the 3 minutes is up, we're going to double that donation. Thanks to Mitel for sponsoring this miracle match. And be sure to do it right now. This year is so important. No donation is too small. We can't emphasize that enough this year. If it's $5 or $10, it's still going to be doubled. Whatever you can give, keep spreading the message. We're down to about an hour left in the telethon. Again, one more thank you to Mitel for sponsoring that miracle match. Graham and Patricia.
Thank you to Matt and Leslie for handling that. Good stuff, guys.
Yeah, great to see that. And we're coming up on 6 o'clock pretty soon. It's hard to believe. It's going by quickly. Let's go back to Leanne Cusack for another check presentation.
Thank you so much. Now, this is a little different for us, but this is not different at all for Christy McPherson. Christy is a gamer, and she's used to the virtual world. We're happy to have you joining us on the line right now, representing Extra Life. Tell us what the gamers have been doing for CHEO, Christy.
So since 2010, we've raised over $430,000 Canadian for CHEO directly. That's just from gaming, playing video games, card games, sports, you name it.
That is absolutely amazing. I know how grateful the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario will be to all gamers. So now we have your check for this year's donation, a check for $64,030. Congratulations. Thank you so, so much. Back to the desk.
All right, thank you very much, Leanne. We're going to welcome Joanne Lowe back to the program now, talking about mental health this hour. And Joanne, I don't know if you had a chance to hear some of Jackson's story, but talking about a time when, as a teenager, he thought about possibly committing suicide morning, afternoon, and night. I want you to address some of the mental health programs that you offer and where donations go to help people in that kind of a crisis.
Yes, thanks, Patricia. Yes, I did listen to and watch Jackson and his mother, and it's just such a compelling story. And those are the kinds of stories that are really important for us to pay attention to. Thanks to the donations from through the telethon and through the CHEO Foundation, we've been able to actually extend our capacity within the emergency department in our mental health crisis service to now be 24/7, which is amazing. And then we also are able to increase our capacity in our clinical consultations and in our treatment programs, particularly in our outpatient department. So all those things really make a huge difference for the young people in our community.
And in the last few years, we've been talking about this now for a few years. The demands just keep going up, and obviously a pandemic probably won't help that. It'll continue that trend.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we here at CHEO care deeply about all of the kids in our community, and so we are always looking for ways to reach out to families to provide them with the tools that they need to actually, talk to their kids about the pandemic and some of their anxieties. But it's also an opportunity for us to actually continue to work in partnership with our other organizations, particularly through the Kids Come First initiative.
We keep talking about those numbers going up, how many kids are in crisis. It's a bad thing on the one hand, it's a good thing on the other if people are in fact reaching out and letting parents or medical health professionals know when they are in need.
Absolutely. You know, the key to all of this is to keep the conversation open and to be really clear about where they can get the help they need, when they need it the most. And CHEO is available there for all of our kids in our community. So thanks.
Well, Joanne Lowe, thanks so much for joining us for this hour as we head into the final hour of the telethon. We do have some numbers to show, I think.
Yes, the numbers that are helping CHEO continue to offer those programs and supports. So look at our tote board, and there it is, up over the $4 million mark.
$4.1 million, an excellent push into the final hour of the telethon. That is coming up. Thanks again, Joanne, and please stay with us.
Well, yes, one final hour of the telethon coming up. You know what we're losing out by being just the small group that we are in the studio? Our applause is
the
not
big
very
applause.
good, right? We've got to start clapping a little bit harder.
Yeah.
We're going to be back in just a few minutes.
As a parent, there is no greater comfort than watching someone be really great with your kids. And as a mom of three, all three of my kids have been through the doors of CHEO at one point or another. My oldest daughter had a surgery done there. This little guy with his lung infections when he was really young. And just the care and the amazing treatment from the doctors to the specialists, just the environment itself is comforting, and that goes a long way in a vulnerable moment. And the luckiest part of all is that we have that right here in our own backyard. We have CHEO right here in Ottawa. We don't have to travel far to get that world-class care, and we need to support the work and the miracles that happen there each and every day, keeping our little ones safe and sound.
This hour of the CHEO Telethon is brought to you by RBC.